Lifers. We're out in the new studio. We're in 4K. Me in 4K. Yeah. Today's going to be a little bit different. It's been storming the last couple days, and when I was trying to update the camera, there's amazing new equipment. We're using all the new equipment now. When I was trying to update everything yesterday, because the camera turns itself on for no reason at all. It just turns itself on. So the battery, it was plugged in, so the battery would charge overnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, it turns on, and it goes beep, beep, beep. It happens to be the same beep, beep, beep that my inverter gives when it's out of power. So this is, in my brain, the emergency, I'm out of power, turn me off, beep, beep, beep. I wake up. Inverter's not even turned on. Why is it beep? I realized the camera's turned on. The camera turns itself on. That's what I want, a camera that turns itself on. Now, not only does this camera turn itself on, this camera has an app, and it does not have a password. It is not password protected. The camera turns itself on and is not password protected. I mean, you realize, you understand, that means anyone with the app, and anyone can download the app, can connect to my camera at any time, turn it on, and look at it. Now, they can't download the app won't let you download, but you can upload to the cloud. I don't have a cloud thing set up, so they can't do that either. As they're driving by on the road, anybody with this app in their phone tries to connect with my camera, and my camera turns itself on. So constantly my camera's turning itself on. I go on the internet, and here I go. Why is my brand new camera turning itself on all the time? Oh, look, here's a video. Here's how to fix it. Manual update. I do the manual update. I do the My own fault. I did realize it, but I didn't think about it. It formatted the SD card, and I lost an entire day shooting. All gone. My fault. So I lost a whole day shooting. It was pretty good. We had a stormy day. It was beautiful weather. It's a shame we lost it. So I updated. I got everything updated. The camera's supposedly good now. You get it all charged up, hook it all up, and I'm getting ready to come out, and I hear this beep, 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 and it turned itself on again. After losing all that, a day's filming and all that update and all this other stuff, and trying to read the serial numbers out of the inside, I'm an old man. I can't. I had to get out my jeweler's loop and do all kinds of tricks to get the serial numbers so I could manually update, and at the end of the day, it made no difference. It still turns on by itself. It's not password protected. Anyone can log into the camera and see what the camera sees. So I always take the battery out of the camera when I'm not using the camera. At the end of the day, that's how I solve the issue. Very simple. I just take the battery out of the camera. So, anyway, that's what we've been dealing with. Welcome to EdTV in 4K. We're in the studio now and we're going to do answering viewer questions. Take it away, Art. Answering viewer questions. There haven't been any viewer questions. Answering viewer questions. So, what we're going to do is another brand new segment, Story Time with Uncle Ed. Apparently there's no theme music yet for Story Time with Uncle Ed. No? Well, I did get a private message and I want to bring it up on the table. I'm gonna lay it on because we're doing the whole video series. Thanks for subscribing, everyone. Thanks for watching. I want to make sure everyone understands, yes, I am autistic. I am low spectrum, high functioning. I have ADHD and a string of hyperactivity disorders. I was diagnosed in 5th grade. And I actually have a couple birth defects, scoliosis, spinal bifida, my back is a mess, my brain is a mess. I'm a hunchback gnome I'm warped in body and mind. Welcome to EdTV. But, you know, as I say, I was diagnosed in 5th grade. The person that messaged me said something about it, and I wanted to bring it up on the table because, you know, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. I was diagnosed in 5th grade. I'm not in 5th grade anymore, so. I was the only kid in 6th grade that had 3 different sections of school. In the mornings it was like science and biology and things like that. And then in the afternoon I was one of like 3 kids that went to lunch early. Only 3 of us were in the lunchroom at this time. That tells you a little bit something right there. And in the afternoon I went to the library and I was a audiovisual assistant and I had free study time. Go to the nurse's office and take my Ritalin because that's what they did to kids who had hyperactivity. In those days, they gave them speed. Makes sense to me. So I'd go to the nurse's office, take my little yellow pills, then go to the library and be the audiovisual and do my own study thing, which was great. And then in the late afternoon, I'd go to another teacher who would do English and things like that. And in 6th grade, being the only kid in school that was doing this. So I had special shoes, special classes. My butt sticks out 3 foot behind me because of my back. And I've been dealing with this instant aversion. People sometimes, as soon as they see me, because I'm bent over, my neck is bent, my body is bent, I understand. I'm a hunchback. Some people have an instant aversion to a hunchback. It is what it is. One of the reasons I'm a hermit. I have scoliosis and spinal bifida. My bottom 2 vertebrae are fused to my tailbone. They make my body curve. And then I have an S curve in my neck, which is one of the reasons I can swallow swords so easily. So, you know, you take what you got and you do what you can. I've dealt with this since 5th grade, so I'm not uncomfortable with it. I had special shoes. I remember having one pair. We were poor. I was on reduced lunch, free lunch. My family couldn't afford the special shoes. I remember having one pair, but I only had the one pair. I understand why some people have an instant aversion to me. No big deal. But it is one of the reasons I live as a hermit. I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, if I can sleep at all, and I obsess about things that happened 10 years ago. That's just how my brain works. I'm hyper obsessive. I've learned to turn that to a good thing, like the sword swallowing. My neck is bent, so I can swallow swords easier than most people. I learned to swallow swords under the canvas, in a sideshow, on the carnival midway. I mean, how many people can say that? But because of the way I live my life, I was able to meet this amazing person. Red, the guy that taught me, sideshow, great. I mean, one of the kings of the old school sideshow, who taught me how to swallow swords. And at the time, I was Zoma the monkey boy, sitting in, I'm going to put up a picture. That's not from when I actually was Zoma boy, but it was very similar to that. That was a later date of the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair at a Halloween show. But it was the same character. Zoma the Monkey Boy, he's alive and on the inside. Born in the jungle, raised with the snakes. He's real, he's alive, and he's on the inside. I actually sat in that box with those snakes and iguanas and tarantulas and pretended like I was a wild boy from the Borneo jungle. And that was what I did for a living. And I met Red, and he taught me to swallow swords. And, you know, how many people can say they were sitting in a box full of snakes pretending to be a wild boy from the Borneo jungle the day that they met the man that taught them to swallow swords? I think I got a lock on that. How many people can say they fought their robot shark against a 250-pound fire-breathing dinosaur in the arena live on BattleBots? I live my life differently than most people. I take advantage of the things that come my way. I look for opportunities that most people don't search for. When I was in the Great American Circus, was it the Great American Circus? I think it was the Great American, yeah, it was the Great American Circus. When I was in the Great American Circus, the producing clown left the show, and I went straight to the owners and I went, I'm up. And they went, what? I said, I'm up. I said, I'm the senior clown. You got no producing clown? I would like the job of producing clown. And I was the producing clown on the Great American Circus, one of the last three-ring big top campus circuses in the country, the year before they went dark. I left, they went one more season after I left and then went dark. EdTV is just going to be me. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I'm out here living my life. Everybody's always said I should make a movie about my life. They should make a show about your life. Dude, you have a hell of a life. So welcome to EdTV. This series is going to be me. It's going to be me out here telling silly stories about my past, building my things. I'm an artist. I love to build weird things. So since we're talking about the circus, I went to work for a circus, little one, Liebel family. And I can name it because this is a funny story. Little Hungarian dude and his family. Nice little show. And I'm sure you've heard the story of Nosy the elephant. I knew Nosy. I knew Nosy well. I worked with Nosy. This was years before all that. He at one point had turned a truck into, the monkeys lived in part of it, the elephants were carried in the back because he was really a baby, and he had a nice living quarters in the front. But he had upgraded from that, and now in the back was just stuff. In the middle was still the monkeys, and in the front was the really nice living quarters. And as his only clown, producing clown, and I was canvas boss. I was in charge of putting the tent up and down. So I had the best living on the show, and it was his old livy. He had upgraded to a fifth wheel. I had his old livy. That's very much your status too on the circus, is what your living quarters are like. And I had the boss's old livy, so I was set. And we're in winter quarters. That's when you're down for the year. You know, you're hanging out, getting ready for the next year. And the two monkeys, Reggie and Susie, and I know their names because I lived with the monkeys. I love the monkeys. I used to live in their cage. I mean, I'm a monkey. Right? We groom each other. And I come home one day, and they had gotten out of the cage through the hallway into my living. I love slapstick as much as the next man. I looked in the little window of the door, you know, the hallway. The monkey cage was here in this hallway, and there was a door here with a little porthole into the living. And I look in the living, and the monkeys are loose in my home. I have a kitchen. I have flour. They have found the flour. They have found everything. They have turned my home into a clown gag. I'm a clown on the circus. And I'm loving life, and I have monkeys destroying my home. How many people can say they've had monkeys destroy their home? I thought it was hilarious. I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. I loved Reggie and Susie. I didn't scold them. Absolutely. They're just monkeys. They're doing what monkeys do. I closed the big door, opened the cage door, got them back in their cage, and we'll have more stories about Reggie and Susie later. I mean, I walked in my door and there was 2 monkeys in my house wrecking the joint. But my home was destroyed by monkeys. Welcome to my life.